all about me. So what's up, guys and girls? I mentioned in another video, or at least in some kind of social media post, I said it somewhere. My memory's as long as my hair. So I mentioned that I would put together a video talking about me and telling you a little bit about me and my why, per se. So that's what this is. My name's JWhitman, hence JWhitman on the channel name. Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about me. So who am I? Well, I'm fat, I'm bald, got a beard, I'm a Christian, I'm married, got 2 German Shepherds. Pretty simply put, I guess, I'm just a country boy in South Carolina. What do I do for a living? Well, my real job's I'm a social media marketer. Pretty much the framework of what I do there is I do campaign design and I do operations for the company I work for. It's Facebook primarily, with other stuff, Google AdWords and all that stuff. But yeah, that's what I do every day to pay the bills. And I'm cheating. I'm looking at stuff I type so I don't miss any points that I wanted to address. I'm a mechanic. I have been for the majority of my life. The first thing I ever did mechanically is mowed yards for an entire summer when I turned 13 and bought a 1967 Mercury Cougar out of somebody's backyard and learned everything leading up to becoming an actual decent mechanic by restoring that car from the ground up. I went in high school. I did a co-op program where I did they called it auto tech, and I did a co-op program for 2 years in high school, and then subsequently got sponsored by a dealer and became a driveline tech. I was the guy who, if you blew your transmission in your new truck, I pulled the cab off the body, swapped transmissions out, stuff like that. Got sponsored and worked for that dealership for quite a while, Chevy dealership, and I started working for Ford. Then did a little stint at a high performance shop doing sales and modifications. And I've worked in the car business for the majority of my life. Did car sales eventually. And then that's pretty much it. I'm cheating again. I've had more, I guess, a little bit more background on my car stuff. Started with a 1967 Mercury Cougar, and I've had a 65 Mustang Coupe. I've had more Fox bodies than I can put on 2 hands. But I'm not biased. I like anything on 4 wheels. I like some stuff on 2 wheels, except I try to kill myself on them, so I don't buy them anymore. My wife doesn't like that. I've just had a bunch of Mustangs just because I like them. I would love an LS1 Camaro or a LS1 Corvette or a new car or an old car. It doesn't really matter to me. I kind of dig everything. You'll notice in my photography work that I shoot anything. I'm not picky. The reason you see a limited selection of cars on there so far is it's what I've shot so far. But a tuner with a huge wing or a low rider, I bring it on. I love that stuff. I love seeing somebody's passion turn into something tangible, something you can touch, feel, and smell, hear. That's really what it's about for me. It's such a visceral hobby to take something, and if it's stock and plain Jane, and making it your own, or if it's broken, fixing it. The tangible reward to be able to get in something and drive it and enjoy it and just be at one with it. It's kind of what I dig. I'm a photographer, obviously. You guys see my videos on here showing before and after edits and fades and really cheesy stuff, or at least I feel like it's cheesy. Hell, it feels even more cheesy talking about myself on camera, but you know, it's part of the YouTube gig. But yeah, as I explored my love for cars, I started doing graphic design, and it all started with video games. To be honest, 13, 14 years old, the Need for Speed series was popular. I started with Need for Speed 3 and Need for Speed 4. Those two titles, modifying cars, creating textures for the 3D models, and eventually even building some of my own models. I had a corny screen name and all that stuff. And there's a couple models out there. Maybe one day I'll link to some of those so you can check them out. They're embarrassing now because they're, oh God, I'm 31. If I did that at 13 or 14, it's 17, 18 years ago that I did that stuff. But that being said, I've done photo manipulation and graphic design for 18 years, over 15 years, let me put it that way. Anything from doing all the photography for my mom's eBay business and scanning book covers and all that stuff. I had a really nitty gritty start and got good by just being passionate about what I was doing. I loved video games and designing textures and editing textures, taking pictures of cars, grayscaling them and making them work, making those images work to make a car look realistic on a 3D model was really, really how I cut my teeth into graphic design and photo manipulation. I did go to school for photography. I did not finish my degree. I'm not going to sit here and tell lies and act like I'm all high and mighty. I had family issues, and I worked a full-time job in management in a retail company, and I just 16-hour course load and all that stuff. I eventually failed, but in that, I got a couple semesters completed, and I finished like my ARV 121 classes, which are art principles and design. I took some photography classes in there, stuff learning how to lay out a picture, frame up a picture correctly, rule of thirds, golden triangle, the Fibonacci circle. I think that's the right name. I don't know. It's been a long time since I did that. All that fancy stuff that kind of helps you develop and train your eye. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm the best. I suck. But I always want to get better. I'm always practicing, and I'm always studying other people's work, watching YouTube videos. And that's the beautiful thing about everything that I do, is that I'm not special. Anybody, you watching this video right here, you can do it. Get some gear, find some correct material, some learning materials, and go do it. And that'll lead into another part where I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, no, like I said, between over 15 years of photo manipulation and graphic design work and the little bit of education I completed, and just for a background on what kind of education that was, I was in a SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design transfer program. So it was like nitty gritty, just straight in there and pound it and figure out what to do and how to do it, which was really, really cool. So that's pretty much wraps up that who am I and what do I do part. Cool. So the next part, I want to talk about my why YouTube. Sorry, I just reached up and turned the screen, so I quit staring at that instead of the lens. It's inspiration. A lot of what I do is because somebody inspired me. It's something I really dug. Something I've always wanted to do, and I've always been able to find out how to do things, or find inspiration from people who are already doing those things to help drive me to do better. And I feel, I guess, obligated's not the word, but I want to be that. I want to be inspiration for somebody, because I'm a nobody. I mean, I'm just a dude who's got some passions. I'm passionate about cars. I'm passionate about photography, and I want to share that. And YouTube is a great place for expression, a great place to grow something, a great place to develop a community, a great place to share something you love, as widespread as you could possibly imagine, so you can get with like-minded people and drive as far as you could ever want to go. I think it's really cool to tell a story about a journey. Everybody's got a journey that they're on, whether it's the journey to the couch, to sit on the couch and do nothing, or it's the journey to chase their dreams. Whether it's build a business, build a car, wear a tutu and dance funny. You can find it all on YouTube, but it's about the journey. It's the story. It's sharing that experience with people. I really I find that at this point in my life, I'm not middle aged yet, but I'm not young anymore. At 31, I'm sure there's folks that are older than me that watch this, and folks that are younger than me that are watching this. And all I can say is that, for me, it's about realizing skills that I have, tangible skills, and developing those to the point to where I want to have joy in life. I'm happy, content, doing things I love, and possibly a form of income. YouTube has income. By all means, I'm not counting on it. I think I've made 50 cents. But, maybe one day I can grow a community and create income and be able to do this as more of a job and less of a hobby. That would be awesome. I don't plan to quit my job or anything like that. I'm doing this because it's fun, and I'm wanting to share my experience, and it's a way to be held accountable for what I'm doing. Now, let me explain that accountability thing real quick. I had a really hard 2016. Well, I've had a really hard couple of years, but I had a really hard 2016. I was really, really kind of kicked in the chest at the end of the year. I got really sick. Really, really sick. And to some people, my issues aren't that bad, but I've never been sick before. I mean, I don't go to the dentist. I probably have meth mouth. But I don't ever go to the doctor. If I get a cold, I just fight it out, so on and so forth. I'm that kind of hard-headed kind of guy, I guess. And I was to the point where I'd been in constant pain for a couple of months. I went on vacation for Thanksgiving with my family and slept maybe 3 out of the 7 days, or 3 out of the 7 nights that we were there. Due to gastrointestinal issues. My gallbladder went bad. I had an individual large stone. I don't know if you can see that. It was large enough in diameter to expand my gallbladder to the point of nearly being ready to burst. And with that, all the other creation of stones and sand and sludge and all that was in there, and it stopped it completely up. I've had kidney stones before, and this was worse, if that means anything to you. Maybe a few of you have had kidney stones. You know how bad that sucks. But it took about 4 weeks of in and out of the doctor and the hospital. I went to the ER immediately coming home from that vacation. And then had to wait a week to get into a practitioner to actually start testing to figure out what exactly was wrong. And then another week till an ultrasound. And all this time I'm on Demerol and all this stuff. I was pretty much out of work for about 8 weeks because I was either blitzed off my mind on pain meds to try to keep pain under control so I didn't end up in the ER every other couple days. I mean, it was crazy. I ended up having surgery January 12th, I think was the date. Once again, the memory problem, hair length, memory length match. And yeah, it's just been rough. I'm not even released from doctor's care yet. I can't lift and anything like that. I've only, in the past week, weaned myself off of the painkillers. And to some people that doesn't seem like a big deal, but I haven't mentioned it yet, but I'm an ex-addict. 13 years clean and sober in May. So that was hard, for the lack of a better way to put it. I was minimally functional, and it was not fun. So, trying to get back to my point, the accountability thing. For me to sit here and tell you guys about my goals, plans, aspirations, show you the photo shoots and try to grow that business, show you what I'm working on with my car and all that stuff, it keeps me in motion. And staying in motion after 8 weeks of inertia and a rough year with family health problems and all kinds of stuff, that accountability is something that I feel good about. Not that I'm going to sit here and answer to you guys, but more so is that there's something inspiring me to stay moving. That's something, I think TJ Hunt says that, always keep moving or something like that. And I'm not trying to coin a catchphrase. I just, it feels good to have something to drive forward to instead of sitting in a stationary position and not doing anything. So outside of the accountability thing, it's my passions. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I want to share that joy. We only have so much time on the face of this planet, and you should be happy. And I'm happy turning a wrench on a car. I'm happy looking through the viewfinder of my camera. I'm happy sitting here talking to you guys, just grinning like a schoolgirl sitting here looking at a camera, as awkward as it feels. And I think that's important, and to be able to share that joy with you guys and hopefully give you some joy. I mean, I don't think you'd watch my video if I made you miserable. So if I make you miserable, catch you later. But hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully you'll comment and tell me what you don't enjoy, and I'll continue to develop as a YouTuber and create content that you guys dig. And I already mentioned expression, but as a artsy type, expression is a big part of it. Whether that expression is just for the sake of being like, look what I did, yay, or if it's looking for critique. I'm pretty much an open book, and I share almost everything I do. I need to check, make sure my camera, yep, still recording, awesome. I hope to receive critique. If you think if you look at one of my picture videos or photo shoot videos and you see something that looks stupid or bad, I hope that you would comment on there and say, hey, this looked funny. Because to get better, you have to know what you've done bad. I mean, there's nothing prophetic about that statement, but it's a simple fact that, you don't get better without making mistakes. I think that's something that's kind of lost in our culture today, is that everybody's getting a ribbon for trying, and sometimes you need to fail. I think it's Edison that's quoted in an interview. Someone was asking him about the light bulb. He had 1,000 iterations or attempts at creating the light bulb that failed before the light bulb was actually invented. And when asked about that, he said, well, the light bulb was an invention that had 1,000 steps. And I think creating the opportunity to fail, the opportunity to better yourself by failing, I think failure is a bad name for making that mistake. I think better is to call it a step, or it is better to call it a step. My grammar is awful. I think it's better to call it a step because it's a step in the right direction. To make an error, identify said error or mistake, correct that, you've now developed or you've learned. It's the whole process of learning and growing in the first place. So I guess that pretty much sums up why I do YouTube. I do YouTube to share my passions. I do YouTube to grow my skill set, because to do the things I want to do and show you guys, I have to get out there and do it. If I want to show you a cool technique in photography, I have to go out there and get good enough to show you something worth looking at. If I want to show you a modification to my car, I got to get off my butt and go do it. And if it's something I've never done before, I got to figure out how to do it, so on and so forth. So I hope that's an inspiration. I hope that you can see that if my bald, fat, goofy butt can get up and do it, that you can too. So maybe that's a little inspirational nugget. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's a fat country boy rambling on camera. But that's my why. That's why I do this. And I'd love to hear from you guys. What are you working on? What's your passions? What are you trying to develop? What are your skill sets that you'd like to see grow? It's not just about money. I'm not going to make money working on a busted car I bought off Craigslist. I'm doing it because I love it, and that's what it's about, So if you got something you're working on, I'd love to see it. Share it in the comments. I'd like to check it out. Send me a message or comment, or, I link my Facebook stuff down in the description below. You'll see my photography page and the YouTube page here, and it's not hard to find me on there. I'm all over that stuff on my personal account. Shoot me a message, just chat. I do my best to get back with you. I'm not a big YouTuber, so it's not like I'm overflowing right now. Maybe one day that might be hard, but right now it's cake. I'd love to talk to you guys. Just shoot me a message, say what's up. And you know what? Before this video turns into a 20-minute speech, I'm pretty much going to wrap it up here. That's why I do this. And I hope you guys can dig it. Awkward pause. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to cover, and I don't think so, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Like, comment, subscribe, hang out. You know, I'll be posting stuff as often as I can put stuff together, as money and time allow. And I'm stoked to share it with you guys. So if you watch this in the morning, evening, day, just have a great whatever it is.